Yeah. Oh gosh. What do you want?
I want donuts.
Okay, yeah, let me get dressed. I want to bring stuffies. Do you really think we need all of these to go to the donut store?
I said stuffies.
Okay, whoa there. It looks like it might rain, so let me give these back to you and I'll put the top on the car. I want to get in. Hang on, let me just finish.
Put my stuffies in the car now.
All right. Okay, off to the donut store. I feel like I need more stuffies. No, I don't think you need any more stuffies. What the? Oh no. So yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. I was taking my daughter to get donuts one morning. The top was off the Corvette. So all Corvettes, since I think the C6, they have this, it's not even an option, they just come with it. It's a targa top, even though it's made of like a composite of some sort, but it latches on, right? And so I had put the top on just like that. It just kind of sits on there until you latch it down. Then at that exact moment, she was like, hey, I want to get in the car. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll let you in the car. And then I got in and I drove away with the roof just like that. So in the Corvette, you've got a latch in the back, 2 latches in the front that hold it on, and I latched none of those. So we had this nice gap right here because the roof was just sitting on top of the car, not latched down. And as we got up to, I don't know, like 15 or 20 miles an hour, I felt the wind in my hair and I was like, that's weird because I just put the roof on. And then I heard a loud crash behind us and I suddenly realized what had happened. I had just recreated that Fast and the Furious scene where they're in the Supra, they pop the roof off on the highway, except I had done it in real life in my Corvette, not in a movie. So here's the thing. I failed to latch the roof down, but it's kind of my 4-year-old's fault, so I think she should drink the pickle beer. Should we give her a beer of failure? All right, fine. I'll drink it. I feel like if I don't drink it and I make my 4-year-old drink it, that will be like a parenting fail. Then I'll have to drink another one. So cheers to failure. Regular pickle beer, not the best. It's not too hot in here today, so it's not overly terrible. It's still pretty terrible and it's a punishment. But goal today is we're gonna fix the roof. So first up, what's bad on it? Because I mean, from here, it doesn't really look too bad, does it? So yeah, I think I actually got really lucky with the roof flying off because what happened is it caught wind, right? So it came up like this. Didn't touch the back of the car at all. It just kind of flipped over the back of the car. And then, best I can tell, it landed down on the road like this and then set itself down like that. So the top of it really isn't too bad. On the inside of the roof here, you can see the latch handle has been scuffed up there. The side of the roof right here and then right there on the front on both sides. So that's where it laid down and then skidded on the asphalt. But I think it actually first made contact on the back here because you can see right there, that's all pretty good, messed up. There's no paint left there. I don't know what this stuff is. The composite is maybe a little cracked. And so whenever I was looking this over, I was like hoping that's all it was. I was like, oh, that's not too big of a failure or a problem, right? But then you get up here on the top and the paint here is all cracked like from the impact. Same on the other side here. So that all has to be sanded down, which means we're not just repainting like the little back portion right here. We're repainting the entire roof panel. And when I say repainting, we'll blend the color and then we'll clear coat the entire thing. And the reason you do that is because if you only clear coat a portion of it, it's not really gonna match. Whereas the color is a layer down. If you put clear over everything, it just kind of blends together and you can't tell. So we're gonna get started today with the not paint, because this is the easier part, the plastic with the scratches right here. And only way I know of to get out scratches is to add more scratches. And we're going to do that with sandpaper. So we're gonna wet sand this thing just like you would a car's paint job. And I've actually done this on another part of the Corvette that was pre-pickle beer, don't worry about that. And I think it's gonna come out just fine. So we're gonna start with 1,000 grit, 2,000 grit, 3,000 grit. Depending on how that comes out, we may buff it a little bit with rubbing compound, but let's sand it real quick. So I've got soap and water in a cup here, a little piece of 1,000 grit with a little sanding block. We're just gonna get that wet and then sand this guy a little bit. And what we're trying to do is get out all the big scratches so it's pretty smooth, and then we'll switch to the 2,000 grit And actually, now that I'm doing this, it looks like this little piece, it unscrews. You can probably get a replacement for it, but you know what? Ours isn't really that bad. So actually, I'm gonna leave it right there with 1000 grit sandpaper. It kind of matches the rest of it already. I'm not going any further. I have a tendency of like taking everything like one step too far. I'm like, oh, it's really good. If I do this one more thing, it'll be even better and perfect. And then like I'll sand the whole thing away. So I actually went and sanded all the places here, so they're now all smooth. But you can see we need a little bit of paint. So this looks, I don't know, what's it look like to you? Looks like a satin black of sorts. And I just so happen to have some satin black. And we're gonna take a piece of cardboard with a little hole punched in it. We're gonna hold it off of where we wanna paint a little bit. We're gonna spray our paint like kind of through the hole. And what that's gonna do is help it kind of like disperse and blend in around exactly what we're painting. Just like so. And there you have no scratches, no scratches, no scratches. It's all painted up everywhere. All right, the underside was easy. That took like, what, 20 minutes? Now we move on to the harder parts. So yeah, all this paint that's chipping needs to all be sanded off. I'm gonna try and sand as little as possible and try and keep as much as the original paint as we can, but yeah, like all this stuff right here, that all has to go. So I've got some 400 grit sandpaper. We're gonna use that same sanding block. We're just gonna do this dry and just go slow and sand off just as much as we need to make everything smooth. All right, so it's really not as bad as I thought. Like over here, I thought this was all gonna be chunks coming out, but it's really just hairline cracks in the paint. Over here, we did have one pretty significant chunk that came out, but it's really shallow. And then we've got you know, some pitting all along back here, like where the street took chunks out of the paint. So to fix that, we are going to use glazing putty. So it's a two-part glazing putty. You got the putty itself and then the hardener in here. You mix that up and then you smear that on, and then we'll sand that down. And the reason we're not using traditional body filler is body filler is for like bigger dents, bigger areas that you want to fill. Glazing putty is for little stuff like up to a 1/16 of an inch thick. And here we are way less than a 1/16 of an inch. So I think we're going to be just fine. So we're going to put on more than we think we need, and then we're going to sand it off, because this stuff sands pretty easily. All right, we are all sanded up now. You can see the glazing putty is just going in the spots, well, for the most part, where the paint was all chipped away, and that's pretty much what we want. Over here, I had to go a little bit deeper in some spots to get all these cracks out, but that's just kind of what we wound up with. So everything is feeling and looking smooth, and so this is the point where if you feel any lines or you can see any lines, they're just gonna get worse, like as you start to go to paint, so you wanna fix them now with the putty. Filler primer does make up a little bit, but not as much as you would think. So to the extent you can, fix it with the glazing putty first, and then we're gonna put some primer on it. Some people say you need primer over glazing putty. Other people say you can just paint over it. We're gonna go ahead and use just a little bit of primer. But before we do that, we are going to go ahead and sand the entire roof with 600 grit sandpaper. Does that just, ooh, it just feels wrong, right? Well, so yeah, we're gonna do that because we're gonna be doing clear all over the entire thing, right? So we don't wanna like really sand this, we just wanna scuff everything up so the clear coat sticks. Same with the primer. I'm sure whenever I spray this, it's gonna get on places I don't really want it, so I'd like it to be scuffed up so the primer will actually stick to everything. So yeah, we're gonna take a roof that is like mostly perfectly fine and just scuff everything up. And before you sand, I forgot to mention this, I've been doing it, but clean the whole thing. You don't wanna sand contaminants into your panel, so just dish soap, water, clean it all up. It feels wrong, but it's also kind of, I'm not afraid anymore. Like, does it look worse? Yes. Is it going to get better? Yes. It has to look worse to get better. It's fine, don't worry about it. All right, our roof is all masked off now, so we don't actually get overspray on the bottom of it whenever we paint. The Corvette is also now gone, so it doesn't get overspray. And when you're masking, if you're not using this stuff, whether it's for cars, for houses, whatever, you should probably get some. It's masking tape with plastic already applied, like drop cloth type material, and then you just pull it out and it covers everything really easy, really quick. No specific brand, it's just masking tape with plastic on it. We're all scuffed up now. Again, we're not trying to go through the paint, just the clear coat, make everything so our clear will stick to it, our new clear. But before we spray our clear, a little bit of primer on the edges where we did our glazing putty. And then once our primer is dry, we're gonna do one final just light scuffing of the primer. We're gonna go ahead and clean everything off with wax and grease remover. And then right before we paint, we will use a tack rag to get off any dust that may settle while we're getting our paint ready here in a second. And so that brings us to the paint and the gun. So today we are using PPG Omni paint. It's the 2015 Chevy Fusion Gray Metallic. That's just what color the car is. I ordered it from paintscratch.com. It's pretty easy to order online, and whenever Paint Scratch ships it to you, it comes ready to spray, so we don't have to mix it with any reducer or anything like that. All we gotta do is pour it right into the gun, and we're good to go. And speaking of the gun, so for years I have used Harbor Freight's second finest spray gun. So this is the Harbor Freight Spectrum gun, and it's been good. I painted all the spoilers and splitters and stuff on the Corvette with this gun, and then I did a lot of sanding. So I don't know if it's the painter or the equipment, but we're about to find out, because today we have a new 3M gun. People seem to like this online pretty well, and I've been considering painting the RX-7. So if today goes well with this new gun, maybe we'll do that. I don't know, we'll have to find out. So I'm gonna unbox this guy and then just pour the paint in there and then just spray it. And then, oh, the clear. This one we do have to mix, so we're using LumaBase Clear 2000. This is the hardener for it. This just came from the local paint store. Guy said it was good stuff, so I guess we'll find out. But yeah, the plan is for the color, I'm just gonna kind of like spray here and then like bring my hand back and blend it a little bit. We'll let that dry, and then we'll hit the entire thing with the clear, and hopefully we don't have to sand. Usually there's always, like, even with Robust, there's a little bit of orange peel, but I'm hoping it will be an acceptable amount of orange peel. Otherwise we will be sanding and buffing the, you know what, we're gonna have to buff it anyways, but we might be sanding it, we'll see. So with that, let's just spray some paint. So clear coat does have a tendency to like lay down and settle down after you finish painting, but I can already tell you we're gonna be doing some sanding. All right, next day, clear coat is dry, and things are not good. So we're going over here to the wall of failure for another pickle beer of shame. Today, strawberry pickle beer. Because this is a pretty good failure. Oh. This one today, first it was pickle and then it was strawberry. They're just, you can't put two different flavors of beer in the same can. So I mentioned before, like I did the splitter and stuff on the Corvette. You can see that came out good after some sanding. I've also done the fender on the Raptor. I did the door handles on the Viper. Granted, those were with like a 2K spray can and not a spray gun. And we were dealing with different stuff today. So we have the new 3M gun. And this thing is actually, this is pretty nice. The way it works, you have disposable tips. You have disposable liners. The caps for the liners have screens built in, so you don't have to strain your paint. And then when you're done, the only thing you have to clean is just like the tip of the needle right here, because everything else just gets disposed. And I'm sure it costs a lot more, but it's a really nice gun. The paint we were using was also an unknown, but it's clear coat. Like, how hard can it be? I did some test sprays on the cardboard here, and I guess maybe there's a lesson. You shouldn't test spray on cardboard. But I mean, on the plastic tape, like, it looks nice. Like, I don't know. Thing is, I think I was having pressure problems. So we have this pressure gauge that goes on the bottom of the gun, and the paint called for 27 to 30 PSI at the gun. And I was having problems keeping pressure up. Whenever you're supposed to test the pressure by pulling and holding the trigger, and that's where you adjust your pressure to. And I could only get 20 PSI. I was like, what's the difference between 20 and 27? Turns out it's probably a lot. So I've never sprayed in this garage before with this air system, like the line's running all through everywhere. So I think what happened is I have too much line, I'm getting too much of a pressure drop. So next time we'll try it with a shorter line directly to the air compressor. That means we're left with a terrible clear coat job and this here pickle beer of failure. So the color actually came out nice. I almost don't want to show it to you because it's so bad. Okay, let's do it. All right, so first, yes, it looks exactly, and it feels exactly like an orange. This is orange peel at its finest. This is, gosh, it's bad. But the color, look at the color. Like you cannot tell me that I sprayed color on this thing. Like it's the same color all through here, even though we know it stopped like right there. The clear coat is not ruined though. So like the second I started spraying it, like I knew something was wrong. I thought I should stop. I was like, maybe I had just like adjust the gun a little bit. I spray a little bit more. It'll kind of, you know, melt together like clear coat does. It did not do that, but we can save it. We're gonna save it with sandpaper. So we got 1000 grit, then 1500, 2000, 2500, 3000. And then at that point we will start polishing. Got our sanding block here. This one that I'm using, it's rigid on one side and kind of flexible on the other. And so since our roof is kind of curved, we'll be using the flexible side. And this will be wet sanding again. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand into what they call a crosshatch pattern. So this way, and then that way. And you do it until you can't see any more orange peel. So actually by the time we're done sanding this, it's gonna be flatter and shinier than that. Unless I sand through the clear coat and we have to repaint it again, but I'm gonna try to not do that. So for me, this is gonna be hours and hours of wet sanding, but for y'all, it's gonna be like 30 seconds. So if you look at this part right here, it's all a consistent hazy sheen. That means we're done sanding with the 1000 grit here. We're ready to move up to 1500 so we can get our 1000 grit sandpaper marks out. Then moving up here, you start to see, we can still see some gloss, little specks of it. That means we haven't sanded enough and we need to continue to sand there more with 1000 grit until we get it all looking like this right here. Then you start moving up in sandpaper grits, and by the time we're done, this will look like glass. There you have it, the orange peel is now all gone, and this is starting to look more like a real car panel, but it's not shiny yet. We gotta make it shiny. So we're all done with cutting. If you've ever heard of cutting and buffing, the cutting is sanding and the buffing is, well, buffing. So this is the next part. We're gonna use an ultra cut compound, then go to medium cuts, you got swirl remover, and finally we're gonna use a ceramic wax. So just throw that on the buffer, get to buffing, and this should be just as shiny as that in a second. There you have a fixed Corvette roof. Not gonna lie, that took a minute. I got all the way done polishing and then I realized I could still see scratches from the 1000 grit in the roof. So I went all the way back down to 1500, sanded everything again. And one of the big things I found out was that same sheen I was talking about at 1000 grit, make sure you do that, or you can see the same sheen every time you get to the next grit. So 1500, 2000, 25, whatever. Because if you don't, you'll see some scratches when you're done. But we're done now. It is all super shiny. It looks like a Corvette roof should. Let's put it on and make sure it matches. So I'm thinking that looks pretty good. So remember, we blended our color like right in here. And so I mean like between there and like everything, I can't tell a difference. If you can tell a difference, you have a way better eye than me. So yeah, I've been watching some YouTube videos on how to paint cars since our whole orange peel incident. Turns out I just had, I had the pressure set wrong. I had the fan pattern set wrong. I had the amount of paint set wrong. Basically everything was wrong. So if I'm gonna paint an entire car, I probably need to do some more learning. So I might get on that, I don't know, we'll see. But until next time. 1, 2, 3. That's literally all you have to do to stop the roof from flying off. See you later. Hi, my name is Steven and I'm wearing my daughter's dress. The only thing is that it only fits over my head. Let's be honest, this isn't the weirdest thing you've seen me do.
I mean, no, is that our daughter's onesie? Pink onesie around your neck? Whose hair is that?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Oh, this is very alarming.
There's more stuffies in the car if you would help.
Oh my gosh.